Hey YouTube viewers, this is Adam Albright, also known as Glarehead, and today I'm going to do a video. I've got a couple requests for this on how to properly tape a color guard rifle. To start out, you need to get good fiber tape, and fiber tape is not duct tape. The difference between fiber tape and duct tape and even electrical tape is that the other two stretch. Fiber tape does not stretch. Also, you do not want to cheap out on the tape. I'm going to show you these two different brands of tape. And you see the one here, the fibers are very coarse and they're apart from each other. You see how there's gaps in them. And this other one, you see that the fibers are a lot closer together. Okay, and it's a lot finer of a grain of fiber. The one with the finer grain is going to do a better job. And you'll find the cheap version at office supply stores. I won't say who they are, but it rhymes with Naples. So this is Duck brand fiber tape. It's very good, and the fibers again they're very dense, and that's what you want. That's going to protect your rifle and really hug the wood fibers and keep them from flaking and breaking. All right, so I start with 13 pieces of tape. I cut them in advance. Each one is about 7 to 8 inches long, okay? And I have them along the edge of the table here. And when you do that, don't have them so close to each other so that they touch and stick to each other, because then you're cutting more tape. Remove the hardware. Take the strap and the bolts off of the weapon before you tape it. You wouldn't believe how many kids I've seen that are like wrapping the tape with it. They don't want to take off the off the strap or the bolts, so they they take the bolt off, but they try to wrap it through the strap. Don't do that. Take that stuff off. Use a power screwdriver. All right. So this is not a new rifle. This is an old rifle. This is what I had in my condo to demonstrate with. It's pretty old. There's a crack in it, but the fiber tape, the old fiber tape, really held it together. Did a good job. There were no major breaks with this thing. All right, I'll show you where to start. So for any old tape on your rifle, I'm assuming this is a new rifle, take all the old tape off. If you're reconditioning a rifle like I am, don't leave electrical tape on there, because then the fibers will, it'll stretch too. So just take off all the tape. All right, so we're going to start at this point right here. And we're going to take a piece of our pre-cut tape. It's like one of those cooking shows where it's like, you'll need these ingredients, and I have them all sitting out in bowls ready to go. All right, you start by just putting this on the top edge, and you're gonna make those fibers run perpendicular to the rifle, and just kind of press on the top, and then really pull. This is what it's going to make your tape job a really good tape job, and this is going to make your rifle last 15 years instead of 3. You pull on these fibers, and you take it right down that side of the rifle, and you press. Okay, you make those fibers hug the rifle. Okay, and same thing on the other side. Pull. Okay, pull and press. Don't let the fibers don't let the fibers overlap each other. Okay, try to keep them parallel lines. Okay, pull to complete. Really get that pulling, so that all those individual fibers are forming like these glass bands that aren't going to break. They're not going to let the rifle break whenever it impacts. So we started there, and we're going to do this is 2-inch wide tape. You can use the 1-inch wide tape. It just takes longer to do. I'd just get the 2-inch wide tape. All right, same thing. Make them overlap just a little bit. Okay, again, pressing, pulling to make that nice and flat. Press to the other side, and again, pressing. You don't want there to be any kinks in this tape. Okay, you want that to grip the whole way through. All right, third piece. You can fast forward. Okay, I know it's fascinating. Again, just sticking a little bit along the top. Pull, Make that line nice and parallel. Other side, pull through. Okay, nice and smooth. And now, depending on the size of your rifle, okay, these are the key points. Right around in the bolt, right around in the neck, and right around here. Those are the areas where it's going to crack and break if it's not taped properly. So you really want to take your time and go well past the edge of the bolt. I'm going to use 4 pieces of tape there. Spend the time now. Your rifle lasts longer later. Get that embroidered on a pillow. Okay. And pulling, not crinkling the fibers. Pull nice and tight and wrap. And pull nice and tight and wrap. Okay. So you see the first bit shiny there. Okay, how much tape is on that? Now we're going to get into the bolt area. These can be slightly shorter. Now I'm going to pick that up. Right, that bolt notch right there, I'm going to start with the next piece right here, so we don't have a gap in the coverage with the fibers there. So pull and wrap that around. Pull. Again, you can fast forward. Okay, so this little area here, okay, so this notch on the inside there no fiber tape is going to go in there. It doesn't matter because you have all these little fiber hugs working their way down the rifle. So I'm going to continue in the bolt area. Now this, it doesn't really matter where you start on the top or the bottom. It's easier to use a flat piece, pull, and really get that tape tight. Okay, slight overlap. Really pull. Okay. Oh, now we're getting to the neck of the rifle here. Okay, once you've gotten past the flat, this flat part of the bolt, and you get to a part where it's going to curve, this is where you want to start on the inside and overlap a little bit more often, because you're going to pull these fibers around that shape, press them in, and again, the other side, really pull those fibers around, okay? Get it around the whole shape. And at this point, you want to overlap by about a good ½ inch or so, because you really want those fibers to pull through that neck, because that's one of the critical breaking points. So pull around the neck, and this inevitably here you're going to have some kinks because it's not, it's not an oval shape that you're wrapping around. So that doesn't matter. Just make sure when you pull to one side, that the fibers are holding it there, and where it overlaps, that you have a lot of bands holding that together. Okay, again, another part of the neck. This piece looks a little too long, but use it anyway. Pull. Now see how nice and smooth I'm getting that? Alright, there's just one more there. Oh, that's really short. Okay, again, starting on the other side and pulling up and in through. And pull and press. Okay, so I've gotten pretty much well past the neck area. Now I'm going to add tape to the tip and the butt, and inevitably those will get hit and broken and flake. That's the pad. I'll put that on later. Okay. And as you can, well, this is a very old rifle. There's still been some chipping, but it's not entirely worn down because of the previous fiber tape I had in there. So do the same thing. Run it parallel. Really pull and press. And you can put a couple pieces up here if you want. Okay. And then on the butt, same thing. Now this is where I use the longer piece of tape. Get to the top. Still recording? Okay, good. All right, pull and press. Oh, this is really kind of worn. That's okay, it'll look good. All right, and then pull, get those fibers parallel and press. Okay, again, you want it very smooth, you want the tension, you want that rifle being hugged by the fiber tape. Okay, now let's get to adding the electrical tape. Use a pair of scissors at this part. Okay, now obviously I've pulled the tape to do something there before, but when you're doing this, cut the end. And where you started with the fiber tape, just take that. Now this is when you can do the spiral with the tape, okay? Do not do the spiraling with the fiber tape. Do the fiber tape in cut sections. You can spiral with the electrical tape because what does electrical tape do? It stretches, okay? And this is more for cosmetics than anything else. But just keep overlapping. This you can definitely fast forward. Work it the whole way down. You know, YouTube changed their algorithms so that you get paid for longer videos that you put up and not for short videos. Say, oh, I don't know, 7-second videos where you roll a flag around your back and have it come back over your shoulder and catch it behind your back, but I'm not complaining. Okay. All right, so whenever you get to the part of the bolts, kind of guide it and overlap it so that it's right at that edge. Nice. And again, this is cosmetic. Overlap it at the bottom, bring it up through so it looks all nice and good whenever you're covering it. And again, you don't have to get electrical tape into this little notch right here. You're not going to see that because of the bolt anyway. Okay, continuing to tape. Now you're going to cover this whole middle part with just one long piece of white electrical tape. I've had kids, I've had student performers show up at practice with their rifle taped. Oh, and they put the fiber tape on it, running this way, running vertically. It broke. All right. Oh, when you get to the neck, you're probably going to be overlapping a lot to cover those gaps. And that's fine. Again, this is all, the electrical tape is just the cosmetic part. Just a point of, another point of cosmetics, make sure you cover every bit of that fiber tape. Because when fiber tape gets old, it gets a little bit flaky, much like myself. Anyway, as it gets old, it kind of dries out. But it usually doesn't lose a whole lot of its holding power. I've had rifles last for 20 years. Back then, they were made out of balsa wood. No, they weren't. They were made out of balsa wood. Oh. I'm using scissors, okay? Pull out that extra bit. Don't just yank that tape off. Cut it with a pair of scissors to get that ending strip. It really doesn't matter where it ends up. Okay. So, see that? Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So, doing the top, doing the tip. This pad came off. I'm going to reapply. If you have a new rifle, didn't fall off. Okay, this actually a little bit. Okay, I'll actually do the pull. I do one across. Now remember, you've already applied your fiber tape around it so that whenever it hits the ground, mine never hits the ground. Okay, well yeah, it hits the ground sometimes. It doesn't chip as much. So you want to do a cross. Okay, you want to do a cross, and then you want to do the two diagonals. And yeah, you have little tape nubs in there because you didn't cut them. You can take the time to cut them, but I'm not, because, and I'll show you why. So it's 4 pieces of tape on each little stop sign angle. Okay, so you've covered the tip. Okay, now I will cut the tape to do the wrapping up here. And wrap, and wrap, and overlap. And this rifle's dirty. I should have painted it first, but no, it's been just fine. Okay, you get to the end, stretch out that extra little bit, and cut it with scissors, and then wrap it back to overlap. Nice little finishing touch. Okay, so there, the tip is taped. It's beautiful. All right, now we are at the ending padding here that we've covered with fiber tape. And for this, I'm going to do the same thing with the pull and stretch. For this, do not do pieces of tape that go over the edge diagonally like this, and I'll show you. See, can you see that there? You see how that's going diagonally over the edge? Don't do those. Don't do those, because inevitably they will pull in one direction or the other and pull all the rest of the tape in and just be a mess. So start over the top, and you can leave the little ends exposed. It's not a big deal. Don't cover those with tape, because you'll pull those right in, and the tape will stretch back, because as you're doing this, you're pulling the tape to the sides. But if you do them diagonally over the edges, they'll pull in and they'll be right under the edge of that rubber tab. It'll look terrible. You'll have to cut it off, because the rest of your rifle looks so good. Okay. I am doing overlapping strips just down the top, or just down the butt of the rifle there. Okay, and I'm going into the end on each side, probably about 2 inches there. And again, I'm pulling and flattening at the same time. And the uniformity of the length of those pieces of tape don't really matter. Again, this is just cosmetic. Same thing when you get to this end. Do not go diagonally over that corner. Okay, you're going to leave some of that pad. Well, there's no pad on this one, but you're going to leave some of that pad sticking out. All right. Now, this is going to be cut. Okay, and now you can do an overlapping wrap. Around now, again, whenever you get to that part of the pad, don't try to pull it up and try to cover that part of the pad. Let the pad stick out over the tape. Trust me. All right, overlap, overlap, and work that down until you've covered the fiber tape. Again, this is just cosmetic. All right, pull out a little bit extra, give it the cut. Oh, and after you cut the tape, whenever you do that, just let it stretch back and just press, because electrical tape stretches, but it'll stretch right back. So if you've really pulled it, and for those last pieces that you apply, it'll crawl right back, it'll leave adhesive, it'll be terrible. So just overlap, let it loose, and then press. Okay, so you've done the tip, the neck, and the butt, and you just put your hardware back on, and you are ready to go, and you have a rifle that'll last 15 to 20 years. Take your time, do it right. All right, thank you for watching.